Our project is speeding up MHRA, NICE, and NHS digital software compliance. I'm Ryan Chuah. I'm working alongside Eun Kim and Xinyao Zhao as part of Team 39 at UCL. Our partner is Joseph Connor, and our partner organization is the Royal College of General Practitioners, or RCGP, and Careful AI. So one of RCGP's interests is in encouraging digital innovation. However, there are regulatory bodies such as the MHRA, NICE, and NHSD that are slowing down these digital innovations' time to market by 6 to 18 months. So what we're here to do is to build a smart digital assistant that will assist users in navigating the large amount of compliance rules that these agencies provide. One of our key requirements is to provide more value than the existing material provided by these regulatory bodies. We then need to extract key information from the documents that they provide, and one of the problems here is that they provide a lot of documents and a lot of information, so we really need to go through all of them and to understand what it is that a user needs to do to achieve compliance. Carrying on, we then assist a user in classifying their medical device, and based on the class of their medical device, we provide conformity assessment information to them. We then store their inputted data for future use. Our solution is to build a chatbot that will allow a user to easily do everything that was required. So how this works is that we allow a user to input their messages into our chatbot UI, and that whole UI sits in their browser. Their browser sends their user input to our own Node.js server. Our server then sends the information to Dialogflow's API, and here what the API does is it detects the intent of the user. So for example, if the user's message was to send me my conversation history, so Dialogflow will understand that the user wants their conversation history emailed to them, and it will tell our server that that's the user's intent. Our server would then perform the necessary actions to achieve this task, and then it will send a response message to the client. Our client will then display this information to the user, and the user reads the response message in our chatbot UI. At the same time, our server also stores and retrieves user data from our MongoDB database. For our technology used, in our front end we're using React.js. For our backend, Node and Express.js. We're storing all information in MongoDB. And to build our chatbot itself, we've used Dialogflow. And lastly, for scripting and testing, we're utilizing Python. So for our demonstration, when a user logs in, he sees this. I'm just going to show you that the suggestions are empty right now because we've not gone through the chatbot. I will start by saying hi. And now the chatbot will prompt me with questions that are common to all three compliance bodies. So these are questions that NHSD, NICE, and MHRA all require. I'll make this harder. What our chatbot is doing is it's identifying the relevant entity in a sentence, in this case Joseph, and then we're storing that in a database. So it's extracting information and then storing it somewhere. I'm just gonna use UCL's address. Okay, so now I'll show you the database. It was empty before, and now, as you can see, it just extracts information and stores it in their proper keys. This part of the chatbot will assist the user in identifying the class of medical device. So I'm going to say no, that I don't know which class of medical device my software belongs to. And here we just move down decision tree. I'm just going to start saying yes so that we don't stay here forever. And yes. So you can see right now it tells me that my medical device belongs to class 1. When we go to suggestions, we'll see a list of suggestions. So this is the action that I need to take, and the reason for it is because my medical device belongs to class 1, and there are resources linked so that when I refer to MDD here, a user can easily just click on this and refer to it. Coming back to our chatbot, let's just say that yes, I do know our tier according to NICE rules, and then let's just say no to this so that we reach the end of our chatbot. So yeah, right at the end it just says look at your suggested next steps by clicking on suggestions here. You can view the history of your conversations here. And another thing you can do is you can ask the chatbot to email you your conversation history. And yeah, so I registered using this email account. Hopefully when I refresh it's here. Yep, so here it is. And you see basically the same thing. It's just a transcript of your whole conversation. Apart from that, there's also a small API. So what happens here is that when you hit this API, it gives you statistics, and this API is protected by basic authentication. When I send a request to this endpoint, I see that the count of MHRA classes is 1. The most frequent is class 1 because that's the only thing in our database right now, and then least frequent, these are all tied at 0. In terms of our achievements, we've achieved all we set out to do. We've built a chatbot that provides more value than existing materials. We've extracted a lot of key information from regulation documents. We've also managed to assist users in classifying their medical device, and then we proceed to provide them with conformity assessment information. Those are the suggestions that you just saw. And then we also store all this data in a database for future use.